They were built to threaten the United States. This was not a line from a Hollywood movie, but rather from the real-life head of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, Sam Paparo. The admiral literally said that to military reporters and the whole world at a conference in Washington in late November 2022. And you can't blame the guy. The tension is even higher than that because while Uncle Sam is spending top dollar in military aid to Ukraine, $18 billion so far, to be precise, China is not wasting any second. The Chinese Dragon has just built a submarine, 6 of them, that can wipe out America in 30 seconds. But what's stopping them from pressing the red button? That's what we're gonna find out today. Spoiler alert, there's a big plot twist ahead. The elephant in the room. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Whoever thinks that a war with China should be easy on the U.S. hasn't looked at the stats for a while. By the end of the decade, China could have 5 aircraft carriers and 60 cruisers and destroyers. That's double the current tonnage. Its navy may surpass America's by 2030. China continues to produce a sizable number of additional combat aircraft with a next-generation tactical bomber, H-20, as well as ships and ground-based missile systems. However, a lot of room is given to the nuclear weapons project, which might result in 700 warheads by 2027 and another 300 by 2030. In addition to the pre-existing silos, the Chinese fleets of nuclear ballistic missile submarines, SSBN, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBM, are scaring the Pentagon with their capabilities, and that's a discussion of the hour in geopolitical space. But what exactly is so scary about these submarines? Let's break it down. China's Type 094. There are 6 Type 094 submarines in the Chinese growing fleet, each with 12 missile launchers and a total of 72 missiles as part of China's nuclear deterrent force. At least 4, if not all, of the submarines are said to be headquartered in Hainan Island in the South China Sea and regularly patrol the waters there. In order to secure its submarines from foreign anti-submarine forces, China intends to utilize the South China Sea as a bastion. The Julong-2, JL-2, submarine-launched ballistic missile, which had a range of about 4,464 miles, according to the Congressional Research Service, allowed Chinese submarines to target portions of Alaska from regions near China. To reach the east coast of the United States, the submarines would have had to enter waters east of Hawaii. That table is flipped by the new longer-range JL-3. It would provide China the opportunity to attack the United States from a safe haven in the South China Sea. According to some American press sources, the JL-3 may have a range of more than 6,200 miles. Could the JL-3 extend its range further? Yes. The majority of North and South Dakota, as well as Montana, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Utah, and California, would be under threat if China's missile submarines change their patrol zones to cover the Bay of Bohai. It is doable for China to target the remainder of the United States, but doing so would require Chinese submarines to go outside of Japan and Taiwan into the Western Pacific, where Chinese air and naval forces are unable to defend them from opponent anti-submarine warfighter forces. Chinese missile submarines are not yet silent enough to survive alone, in contrast to American missile submarines. But here's the plot twist. China has not announced a commissioning of the JL-3, so all the previous claims were American statements and data estimations. Chinese military experts argue that China is developing SLBMs to protect itself from nuclear blackmail, and that the U.S. military speculation is based on false information in order to increase funding for the development of its capabilities. According to them, the U.S. military is trying to increase its presence in the Asia-Pacific area during the Russia-Ukraine war and raise more money to constrain China by exaggerating China's ordinary national defense growth. The U.S. military aims to increase the number of anti-submarine troops stationed in the West Pacific and build its own more sophisticated nuclear-powered submarines, such as a Columbia class, which is scheduled to take the place of the Ohio class. Hyping the China threat theory will get the U.S. military more funds and regional support to do so. In addition, the fact that its nuclear forces based on submarines are primarily designed for counterattacks, China retains its nuclear capabilities at the exact minimum level necessary for national security. They won't aggressively threaten or attack anyone, but they will stop other nations from using nuclear threats against them. So, to put things into realistic perspective, by 2030, China could afford to raise the number of cruisers and destroyers from 36 to 60, as well as its carrier fleet from 3 to 5. It may ultimately result in an increase from 6 to 10 of the Type 094 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. The Chinese Navy's overall tonnage, or total weight of its ships, would rise from its current level of 1.3 million tons to almost 2 million tons. In comparison, the Pacific Fleet of the United States Navy is home to 6 aircraft carriers, as well as 50 cruisers and destroyers. It also possesses 8 ballistic missile submarines with nuclear propulsion. The ships that are part of the Atlantic Fleet are not included in this total. Globally, the U.S. Navy has a tonnage of around 4.5 million tons. This gives us the assumption that maybe the U.S. owns a real beast. USS West Virginia. While the bulk of China's submarine fleet is diesel-powered, all U.S. submarines are nuclear-powered. Of course, we can't speak about the U.S. nuclear naval power without bringing up the undisputed old-timer, the USS West Virginia SSB in 736. It is an Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine. She has been serving since 1990. She is the 11th of 18 Ohio-class submarines and the 3rd U.S. Navy ship to bear the name of West Virginia, the 35th state. The early stages of the construction of a new Block V variant of Virginia-class attack submarines, which significantly enhance firepower, combine cutting-edge new sonar technology, and make use of the most recent developments in automation and AI, are progressing for the U.S. Navy through a $22 billion contract between the Navy and General Dynamics Electric Boat. The development agreement advanced significantly. 8 of the new Block V deals are being built with a new 80-foot armament section in the boat, allowing the submarine to boost the number of onboard Tomahawk assault missiles from 12 to 40. U.S. Navy Ohio-class submarines are equipped with the Trident II-D5 missile. The 3-stage ballistic missile may carry several independently targeted reentry bodies and has a maximum range of 4,000 nautical miles, according to Navy estimates. The 130,000-pound Trident II-D5 missile can go 20,000 feet per second. Each rocket is $30 million. The Trident D5s carry 3 types of warheads: the 100-kiloton W-76 Mk4, the 100-kiloton W-76-1 Mk4A, and the 455-kiloton W-88 Mk5 warhead, the highest yield ballistic missile warhead in the U.S. arsenal, according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. The Trident II-D5 nuclear missile is being updated by the Navy so that it may continue to operate its fleet of nuclear ballistic missile submarines for an additional 25 years. The Ohio-class submarines have been equipped with a 44-foot-long submarine launch missile for 25 years. The Navy intends to increase the Trident II-D5 missile service life to guarantee mission success in upcoming decades, since the missiles are also being planned as a baseline weapon for the Ohio Replacement Program ballistic missile submarine, a unit expected to operate long into the 2080s. Trident submarines are 560 feet in length, or nearly 2 football fields. Each submarine can carry 24 submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs, designated Trident D5, and each missile can carry up to 8 100-kiloton nuclear warheads, about 30 times the explosive force as a Hiroshima bomb. The Trident D5 missile stands 44.6 feet high and originally had a range of 4,230 nautical miles with a full load of warheads, and up to 6,000 plus nautical miles with a reduced load of warheads. Upgrades and life extension programs may have changed some specifications. Warheads either Mark IV W-76 or Mark V W-88. Anything new? Well, with the U.S., there's always something cooking. The U.S.'s new Columbia class. The new Columbia class, which is now under construction, may be the quietest underwater vessel ever made. Among other elements, it makes use of smooth, effective electric propulsion, as opposed to the mechanical dry propulsion train used on other Navy submarines, and an unconventionally designed X-shaped stern. According to Navy experts, a reactor plant in new Ohio-class submarines produces heat that turns into steam. The steam then moves the ship ahead while simultaneously turning turbines that provide the sub's energy. This propulsion is made possible by reduction gears, which can convert a turbine's high-speed energy into the shaft RPMs required to turn a boat propeller. The submarines have a 560-foot length and can launch 16 Trident II-D5 missiles from tubes that are 44 feet long. According to Navy authorities, when submarine designs advance from utilizing a propeller to employing a propulsor to increase quieting, submarines lost some of their capacity to move on the surface. The X-shaped stern will help to fix this. Electric drive propulsion still depends on a nuclear reactor to produce the heat and steam needed to power turbines. However, rather than using so-called reduction gears to spin the boat propellers, the power generated is sent to an electric motor. An old MIT study from the time the electric drive was being considered for submarine propulsion claims that using an electric motor also has additional benefits. According to an essay titled Evaluation and Comparison of Electric Propulsion Motors for Submarines, using an electric motor more effectively uses the installed reactor power than mechanical drives, freeing up more onboard power for other applications. According to author Joel Harbour, a mechanical drive submarine uses 80% of its entire reactor power only for propulsion. A computer-driven joystick navigation system, fly-by-wire technology, and fiber-optic periscope technology are few more technologies used by the Columbia-class that were designed exclusively for the Block III Virginia-class combat submarine. The submarine can select its depth and speed automatically thanks to automated navigation, freeing up a human operator to continue exercising command and control. Although the U.S. Navy has already lagged behind its Chinese counterpart in terms of ships, the U.S. naval force still dominates. This is true not only for aircraft carriers and their battle groups, which Beijing is expected to be able to match in the near future, but also for submarine warfare, where the U.S. has a technological edge that Beijing may find more challenging to overcome. These new submarines that are more silent might play the same Cold War game made popular by the movie The Hunt for Red October. War is a game of chess, and the Pacific Ocean is the board for this one. It can last for minutes, hours, or years. Don't miss out on the best sudden strategic moves on the board from both sides by subscribing to the channel and hitting that like and notification button.